I'm listening to 49er Rush. Niners all day. Let's bring 6 home, baby. Let's go.
I love it, man.
It's time for the 49ers Rush podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? This is Chapman. I'm back at the mothership. Got back in Monday. Got a little bit of a rest from the amazing Chicago trip. And we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today with the trade deadline. Coming and going. 49ers making a trade. We got some roster moves, practice squad, all kinds of different things going on. Let alone in division trades. It seems like, the 49ers finally come away with a decisive win, and the Rams say, no, we're going to steal that back. We're going to try to get some of this momentum back and figure out how that's going to belong to them, shifting everything to them. And we're going to talk about that, the repercussions of that. Mr. Superfly, have you recovered from that crazy weekend of partying? I think today I did. I got a little bit of a workout in earlier. I struggled through the workout, but I'm feeling really, really, really good. And man, let me just say this. What an incredible weekend. We're doing everything we can to create a healthy community, to travel to all these games and stuff with the 49ers Rush road trip. And oh my gosh, did you guys deliver? Absolutely insane. We did the trip in Philly and it was incredible. It was awesome. Loved every single second of it and the relationships you got to build and all those things. It was great. The Chicago trip, good Lord. It was like, it got amped up to say the least. We were at a spot that held about 110 people. We had 50 plus people outside waiting to get in. Now, if you bought your tickets with us, you got in guaranteed, whatever. But for the people that just wanted to show up and see what it was about, I wish we had a bigger space. We'll figure that out. Now, our LA trip, we've got a lot bigger space, which is going to be awesome. And, I do want to say shout out to all the different podcasters and media people that showed up. Matt Mayoko came out, Jason Aponte, Vish, KP, Niners Nation, Javi. Just like all the DZ, he came out as well. So just like you name it, they were there. I think we gave away like 9 jerseys. It was incredible, and the tailgate was great. The game was great. We had enough beer at our tailgate that we went back after the game and just were passing out beers to all 49ers fans. Just celebrate, having free drinks. It was incredible. So just want to say thank you. The relationships that were made, man, that's what it's about, the community. It was a huge success. Maybe not for my liver, but for everything else. Why not, right? So I do want to say thank you to everybody that came out and supported that. Now let's talk some football. This is what we're here for, baby. First off, the 49ers trade. I think this is probably the biggest news of the day. The 49ers trade for defensive end Charles Omenihu. And I love this, okay? Spoiler alert. Longtime coach in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for football and Texas high school football. He played Rowlett. I remember watching tape of this kid whenever he was still in high school as a junior, just because of some cross games we were playing. And man, just remember being in meetings, just circling this kid and saying, hey, this dude's a baller. Then he goes to Texas, which hook him, baby. So I got to watch him all through his college everything. And now he's on the 49ers. And here's the things to take away, okay? We're going to talk a lot about the player. But before we do, try to understand the philosophy of what it is the 49ers are doing. Whether it's John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, both, don't care. It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant right now. Here's what's key. The 49ers are bargain basement shoppers for young talent. Doesn't mean they always hit home runs. We'll talk about Von Miller, what that looks like. We'll talk about Melvin Ingram, what that looks like. No. Bargain hunters. That's what this is. They lowball everybody, and it usually doesn't go through. And whenever people are like, oh, the 49ers never trade. Like, really? Who's the highest rated player in the NFL currently? Highest rated player in the NFL by Pro Football Focus this year. It's Trent Williams. We got him for a third and a fifth. 3rd and 5th. So it's not that the 49ers never trade. That's 100% wrong. Our front office has more draft day trades since John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan stepped in than any other front office. We have the most draft day trades. We trade D Ford. You go get Emmanuel Sanders. You trade away Quan Alexander. Today you get Charles Minnie. It's not like we don't trade, but we're not the Rams, right? The Rams are on meth. That's just who they are. And maybe that's going to work out for them. But whenever you look at the different front office philosophies, okay, you go back to right before this draft, right after the Super Bowl, the question was asked to John Lynch. And I don't care if you like John Lynch or hate John Lynch or whatever. I don't care. Listen to him, okay? The question was asked right before the draft. Do you feel like it's a win-now situation, or are you trying to build for the future, sustain success? And John Lynch said, I want to do both. We traded so much capital to go get Trey Lance. He's the future, okay? He is the future. The way we drafted this past year. You're drafting for the future. We literally are redshirting half of our draft class, and the only two people that are starting, right, Elijah Mitchell and Huff, Talanoa Hufanga, it's because there are injuries. Kyle Shanahan is allergic to rookies. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to use them. That's just not who he is. Bill Walsh was the same way. But whenever the situation comes for it, you got to put him in there, right? When did Trey Lance get a start? Was it because Trey was ready, or was it because Jimmy got hurt? It's because Jimmy got hurt. I'm not saying I advocate for this. I'm not saying I agree with that thinking. No. Opposite. I'm saying that's the way they're thinking. That's what they're doing. They believe in this roster that they put together in free agency. Do you remember free agency? Nobody was complaining then because we signed everybody and their mom. So whenever you look at all those things, okay, understand what they're doing. We didn't trade away any premium capital. And whenever the trade went down, it's funny. I put on there, I bet my guess is a 2023 6th rounder. You go look, it's on my Twitter feed. I retweeted it to toot my own horn because I'm selfish. And luckily I got it right. But, we nailed it. But that's the thing. You got this kid. He is young, 24. Now, you start looking at it, he's 24 years old. He's got 2 years left on his rookie deal. He's dirt cheap. Listen to these numbers that you got. $472,000 against the cap this year. $965,000 against the cap in 2022. So you get him for a year and a half. Dirt bottom prices. Now, who is this guy? Okay. And yeah, thank you, David. I see you putting that in there. 6'5", 280. This will allow Eric Armstead to play inside more often, which is huge. You need that. D Ford, he's got a concussion. He's not getting a lot of snaps. And to be honest with you, Charles Omenihu, he's an inside-outside guy as well. Versatility with pass rush upside. Stop me if you've heard that before. Now, he ran a 4.92 despite being 280. He's a big dude, okay? 36-inch arms. That's insane. That's top 90th percentile, very, very long-armed player. In college, he had 16 sacks, 78 pressures. And, you look at kind of what he did. He was a 5th-round pick back in 2019. And, let me say this. He wins a lot like Kerry Hyder. He's an all-out effort guy. He is violent and effort and leverage. That's kind of who he is. But he's a lot taller and a lot bigger than Kerry Hyder. But very, very similar play styles. Now, you look at kind of what he's done, this high motor. Okay, in 2019, his rookie year, he had 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. Okay, but 0 starts. He was a situational interior and exterior pass rush specialist. That's what he is. He hasn't played good against the run. In college, he was very good against the run, but he played on one of the worst defenses of all time. It was a really bad Texas defense. Oh, man, Matt, thank you for the gift, man. He says LMAO. As the Rams, I didn't want to say it. I'm trying to behave myself today. I used up all my 4-letter words in Chicago. The Rams mortgage the entire future. If one of them get hurt, the entire team is done. Yeah, the Rams, if they win a Super Bowl, it's worth it, right? And that's what they're doing. If the Rams win a Super Bowl, it's worth it. And their philosophy is not our philosophy. They don't give a crap about youth. They don't give a crap about depth. They just want as many all-star players as possible and then just a bunch of Jags, just the guys. And so everybody's like, oh, the Rams, there's no salary cap. Well, they're not taking on any of this salary cap. But again, you look at what they had last year. They lost 5 defensive starters from last year into this year through free agency. Salary cap's real. You can manage it and manipulate it, but eventually if you're egregious, it catches up with you. We haven't seen that of them yet. But hey, they win a Super Bowl, then it's worth it. This is a 1-year rental of Von Miller. 1 year. He's a free agent next year. And I know somebody that thinks they're really, really smart out there. That's probably one of you. Oh, well, they're going to get a comp pick whenever he signs somewhere else. Nope. Wrong again. Why? Because he has 10 years of service. He's got 10 years accrued season, and he's a non-quarterback, so it doesn't even count for the comp pick thing. This is, we're trying to win a Super Bowl. Now, if they want to sign him long-term, that's going to count against the cap. We'll see where that looks in the future. I don't want to dive in that too much, but it's different. It's different. Adam, oh man, Adam Garcia, always the voice of reason, not only on the show, but man, he keeps me in check as well. Just a great dude. He says, Minihue had more quarterback hits than J.J. Watt in 2020. That is true. 200 fewer snaps than J.J. Watt. His pressure rate this season is 13.8, which is higher than Nick Bosa. And so, again, let's go through these. Man, Adams, I swear, this dude, he's reading my notes. In 2020, he had 4 sacks, 16 quarterback hits, 5 tackles for losses, 2 pass defense. This is a long dude. Okay, so he gets his hands up, gets a lot of tip balls, which is exciting as well. But he was unreal. He's 23 years old. And again, Texas team wasn't really, really good, whatever else. But he was one of the bright spots. And a lot of people had him like, oh, this is one of the bright, pass rushers in this league. Well, this year, he came out and started the first 2 games, and then basically the Texans have been in a fire sale. And his name has been mentioned for a long time. Ian Rappaport, Schefter, all of them have put out, oh, this is a young guy that, the Texans could trade. I don't know how the 49ers won this auction, but we did. And again, situational guy, but he's not going to start for us. That's not his job. He's going to come in and give us versatility because he can play inside, he can play outside. It's going to help Eric Armstead more than anybody. And it gives us just, again, more of those pass rushers. And so we like it. You look at his numbers this year, 3 quarterback hits, 1 tackle for loss. Like, that's not that great. But whenever you pull up and, again, kind of look at what he has done, I had this up and I took it down. I don't know what's wrong with me. You look at his numbers just this year, he's got 16 pressures. 16 pressures this year. 4 quarterback hits, 12 hurries this year. I mean, he's been all over the place. 4 solo run stops. Now, what's he grade out the highest? He's got an 80.3 in pass rush grade. Like, really, really high. His total snap count's pretty low. He's at 219 snaps on the season. So it's not like he's, out there playing and play out, but it just gives you more depth. And the length that he brings. Again, you look at kind of what his lowest grade is, it's run defense. That's not who he is. He's got 2 missed tackles, but he's a guy that can get blown off the ball a little bit because he is so big and he does play with such length. That's not his strength. In college, he was able to kind of, how do I say this? Out-athlete players in the Big 12 and have a lot of success with his motor and length and body type. Can't do that. The technique needs to improve as an anchor point in the NFL. We haven't seen that. You look at just his snaps and kind of where he has been. He's got 9 snaps in the A and B gap. That's not where he is. He's not really a 3 technique. He's a 5 technique or the 7 guy. That's kind of where he is. 178 of them are out on the tackle or outside. That's where they used him. So the dude can play. There's no doubt about it. There's no question about it. He's going to get snaps right off the bat. And again, the way you pronounce his name is Minihue. See my man Doug asking that in the chat. It's Minihue, Charles Minihue. And he's a great kid. He's going to be real easy to root for. His motor and things like that. You're going to like him. He's always around the quarterback. And he's cheap as hell and young. He's 24. He's 24. Yatsik, he says, what's going on with Kinlaw and his long-term health? Should we be worried? The doctor came out after Kinlaw's surgery and said that he found the issue that's been giving him problems and took care of it. We'll have to wait and see. You know, what that looks like, your guess is as good as mine. You know, the pre-draft write-up was knee arthritis and all those issues. Now, does this fall into that? We'll see. That's not who I am. Kurt Warner, thank you. The great Kurt Warner for the gift. I appreciate it. That is awesome. I love it. And really do appreciate your gift. And thanks for, just thanks, man. I think he's a pretty good reporter, actually. I don't mind him too much. He gets a little bit on his own kind of Kool-Aid sometimes, and I think that's a problem. Now, speaking of things that are good to be on, real quick word from our sponsor, Every Plate. This is incredible. Brand new deal. This is a new one. We've been with Every Plate for over a year now, and the deals just keep getting better and better. So if you're wanting to eat healthy, man, check this out. Experience full plates and fuller wallets with America's best value meal kit. Here's the deal. I was beyond skeptical, okay? I'm not a big cook. I don't really have a lot of time for that. You guys know I got way too much stuff going on. But with Every Point, it is all the hard stuff's taken out of it. And so here's what's amazing. You prepare all of your meals in less than 30 minutes or less. And again, I wouldn't touch it if that was the case. But it's healthy, it's delicious, and it's quick. You ever sit around like, all right, what am I going to make next? They take all of that out. And so if you head over to everyplate.com, use the promo code 49ers179, no specials. Now, what does that 179 mean? With no spaces, again, 49ers179. Every meal is $1.79. So again, go over to everyplate.com and enter the code 49ers179. $1.79 per meal. It's incredible. And here's one of the things why I've worked with these guys for so long is I endorse their product. I use their product with my family. My son likes their product. My wife likes it. If you can make all of us happy, you're doing something great. So give yourself and your wallet a break. Enjoy delicious, affordable meals delivered to your door. You don't have to go shopping, and ready to go in just 6 simple steps. So try Every Plate for just $1.79 per meal by going to everyplate.com and entering code 49ers179. All right, a couple questions from Patreon members that I want to get to. And again, I just finished an hour-and-a-half breakdown of the offensive game. I'm going to get some clips cut up from that from the main man himself, Juan Salas. But that's up available right now. So if the best way to get the 49ers game coverage and understand the ins and outs and all that stuff, I go over some route concepts on today's show on the Patreon breakdown. Head over there. Just go to patreon.com, 49ers Rush Podcast. Once you subscribe, you get access to everything, literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of film breakdowns. But Trent had this question, and I thought this was really, really good. How much blame do you put on Lynch for going into our season with the cornerback position the way it is? Considerable, okay? He goes on to say, having to use Norman and Kirkpatrick off the couch has killed our stellar defense so far. Seems crazy to me that they neglected this position for so long. Well, they did draft 2 guys, right? Now, they waited. It was a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick, but you drafted 2 corners this year. Now, we all knew corner was going to be a position. Jason Verrett was incredible last year, maybe one of the top 3 corners in the NFL. He goes down week 1, okay? Manuel Mosley, he had some issues. He wasn't ready to go, whatever else. And so after that, it got real bad. We just had injury after injury. But you're right. We knew cornerback was going to be a position of issue. Now, again, let's go back to the philosophy, the team building concepts of this team. It's front back. That's what it is. It's you build up front. What did we trade for today? Defensive end. And people are like, man, why do we trade for a corner? 1, corners are expensive. 2, corners don't trade that often. The Eagles got a corner, but again, I don't know much about the guy that the Eagles got. Not a lot of corners move. There were some big names available early on this year, the Patriots, Stephon Gilmore, all that kind of stuff. But again, I don't think he wanted to come out here because he got a hometown deal, went home, all that kind of stuff, whatever else. But it is problematic. And, you don't have to go too far into the draft to get it. Let's say John Chapman managed the draft for the 49ers this year. In that second round, when Asante Samuel was on the board, I would have taken Creed Humphrey still. Now, the scores came out today. Creed Humphrey is the highest center guard in the NFL. He's the best there is already. Year one. Who would have saw that coming? I don't know. Probably this rosy red cheek guy that's talking to you currently. But at some point, I thought there were a lot of corners you could get later on. But, man, you look at Diamador Lenore, he's playing just fine. The fact that he's healthy scratches, again, this is all on we don't trust rookies, man. We just don't. And I hate that mindset because I would much rather have Diamador Lenore out there building and getting better than Josh Norman. I really, really would, but it's where we are. And Josh Norman's played pretty good, really, really awful, or really, really good. And one thing that I do have to say, and again, we got to talk about this, let's bridge this over into the Bears game. No pass interference penalties this week. What?
Very satisfying. I think we had one defensive holding, I think. But that was huge. You guys, it's very well documented how much we've struggled with that this year, big time. And it's been rough, and we emphasized it a lot this week. And going into this game, knew it would be a challenge because those guys they throw more deep shots than anyone in the NFL. So we were aware of it all week, and it was nice for those guys to step it up and play penalty free.
And that's huge. And so our pass defense has done really, really well, except for pass interference penalties, especially on third down, and especially them just being so long. We have the highest defensive penalty yardage per game, right? All of our numbers are always going to be different because we've had our bye week before everybody else, but it's huge. And so to correct that, I think we had one defensive holding call on Norman. But, man, if that's all you get from Norman, that's okay. And, of course, he got the interception to kind of ice the game once it was already out of control anyway. I thought that was important. And so whenever you look at the defense, though, this was the worst defensive game probably all year for the 49ers. You look at just kind of the metrics themselves, maybe not, right? Like if you're just looking at yardage totals or whatever else, then I don't think that you would say that. They only gave up 324 yards. But, man, they got destroyed on third downs. 8 for 15 on third downs by the Bears offense. 1 for 1 on fourth downs. That's when Fields ran all over the place. Fields had his best game of the year. The Chicago Bears had their best offensive game of the year. They ran at will. It was bad. It was bad. And, listen to Fred Warner talk about this and how the offense had to carry him this time, which has been the other way around. This is the story of the 49ers. One side does well, special team sucks, costs us a game. Defense does well, offense sucks, costs us the game. Offense does well, and the defense did just enough to get the W this time.
Oh, man, that was huge. Debo had a heck of a game, overcame some adversity early on, and, like I said, had a heck of a game, helped us win that ball game. Jimmy played great. The whole offense, I was super proud of the way everyone fought, especially that side.
And so, it's give and take. But when is it going to happen that the team hits on all cylinders together? That's what we're missing. Because we haven't seen this team play the way that they could play. And that tells you what kind of team this is. It's a 500 football team. That's who we are, right? Well, we're a little below that, 3-4. But, we're hovering around that kind of, we beat bad teams, we lose to good teams. We beat teams that don't have elite quarterbacks. We lose teams that do have elite quarterbacks, and that's an issue. But Gregory, again on Patreon, I love this. He pointed out our offense. Jimmy Garoppolo, 4th most passing yards this week. Jimmy Garoppolo throwing for 300 yards. We didn't have a lot of passing attempts. We had a lot of explosive plays. Now, some of those, right, you get an 80-yard screen pass, but that's whatever. Cooper Rush beat him by 3 yards to be number 3. Debo was number 1 in receiving yards. Elijah Mitchell, number 1 in rushing yards. The explosiveness is there. The big plays on offense are there. We haven't had that. That's been missing. Listen to Kyle talk about that.
I mean, I thought from what it looks like, Elijah made some really good runs at the end of them. I think we gave him some clean lanes. That run defense, it's tough to get through those 5 on the line of scrimmage, and they didn't go 6 on the line as much as they have on tape. But our guys blocked well. He got through there, and I thought he got a lot more plays, or made a lot more plays than what it was just blocked for. So, and just the receivers blocking on the outside, everything, that's allows you to get the big ones, and it would have been a much tougher day if we didn't get those big ones.
And that's the way this offense is designed to build and to flow. You get those chunks, the small chunks, and then you get the big explosive one. You get the chunks and the big explosive one. That's the way the floodgates open, okay? And we haven't had the big explosives. It's been small chunks. Oh, 3rd and 1, we're out. And so we're missing that kind of big explosive play. Well, they turned on, especially in the second half. Now, from Niner Fan 87, I like this because I have this in my notes, so I appreciate that. I love it whenever we're simpatico, man, and we can kind of jump off of each other. So thank you guys. And a lot of that's too. We got the best freaking, I don't know what we call each other, the Rush Community Countdown Crew. Oh, which by the way, man, oh my gosh, it's a new month, baby. I got to do a giveaway. I gave away all these jerseys. I got more to give away. I'm going to pick a jersey. I'll announce this on Twitter later tonight. I don't want to do it haphazardly, and I can't reach the jerseys that are in my office over there. So I'll re-announce this, but hashtag CCs sometime this week. I'll figure that out. We're going to be giving away another jersey, so get your hashtag CCs in. Countdown Crew. Basically, what you do is hashtag CC the first 90 seconds. Anytime we go live, turn that notification bell on, enters you into free jersey. So I'll announce that later on Twitter and get that going. But pay attention. We'll be doing that this week, some point. Just giving away jerseys. That's what we do, baby. Back to Niderfed. He says, did you see Kyle get fired up after the game? It's pretty cool to actually see him get after the team and being that pumped. Yeah, his speech was awesome. Do whatever it takes. Just whatever it takes was his motto. Lots of F-bombs, all those things, which was great. This team was hyped up. And, I'll say this. I'm going to let Kyle talk first. And then I think, actually, no, I'm going to skip that. I want to go straight to Jimmy Garoppolo because, Kyle Shanahan gave out 2 game balls. He gave 1 game ball to Mitch Wisnowski, whose wife was pregnant and gave birth right before the game. And then he flew out the night before for the game. We never punted, which was incredible. But then he gave a game ball to Jimmy. And, we don't have videos from all the game ball, ceremonies or whatever. And you can say whatever you want about Jimmy Garoppolo. That team, that locker room went bananas when they gave that game ball to Jimmy Garoppolo. Listen to Handsome Man himself talk about how important it was to get this win.
I think our team just needed a win. I mean, losing 4 in a row like that, you got to come do something about it, and I think our guys did. We came ready today. There was a good mindset on the sideline. Guys were talking. You could feel each other, and when we're playing like that, that's when we get dangerous.
Oh, that's when we get dangerous. Look at them jumping in there. I like that. I ain't even mad about that. But I think, I don't know, man. I think it's important. We could talk about the Jimmy G. Like, the first half wasn't great for Jimmy G. We went into the half with 9 points. And Jimmy wasn't elite. I finished the entire offensive breakdown. The first half wasn't great. Second half was incredible. Jimmy G was on fire. Probably the best half. I said this at the breakdown. This is the best half of football Jimmy Garoppolo has all the way back to the Saints game. Yeah, that's how long it was till Jimmy looked like this. I mean, especially on third downs. And I know a lot of us are going to remember that third down in 19, whatever to Debo where he took it to the house. But that very first drive, we're going to go 3 and out, and it's like 3rd and 10. The post throw to Mohamed Sanu, I think, was the best throw of the game. I mean, it was good. It was really good. The deep post to Debo. Like, he had, probably 4 or 5 throws where you're just like, whoo, that was good. And so, I mean, if you can get that, that's huge. But, been mentioned a lot. That, and again, I was at the game. Kyle Shanahan was lighting into Jimmy coming out to start the second half. Trey Lance was warming up. I mean, that's pretty typical, but I'm just telling you. I think things were getting kind of close in that second half, and Jimmy turned it on. And again, that's all speculation on my part, whatever else. Thankfully, Jimmy came out dealing and got it going, which I love. I want this team to win above all else. Everybody knows how much I love Trey Lance. Everybody knows that. But that doesn't mean I have to hate Jimmy or whatever. Do I think Trey Lance should start? I think Trey Lance should be getting snaps. I believe that. If I was making the choice right now, I'd keep Jimmy as my QB, especially going against Arizona without Kyler Murray, and I'd get Trey Lance 12 snaps a game. That's what I would be doing right now until that transition takes place. Man, Kurt Warner again, thank you for the very generous donation, man. He said, been listening to your podcast for a while. First time watching live. Welcome, man. The live community, the chat takes on a room of its own. A lot of times I'll go back after the show and read because, I've got my script. I've got my interface up here for all the videos, and I'm kind of relaying all these things, which is hard. I can't jump into everything, but man, you get these glimpses. It takes on a life of its own. It's incredible. I love the guys that are here. He asked, what's the best way to support you, Patreon? Patreon's the place. That's number one. And again, I made a couple announcements this week at probably too many libations. This is going to be my last year teaching. I love teaching. I've done 15 years teaching, and it's a dream come true. I still love teaching. However, I want to see where this is going to go. And I'm also no longer going to be coaching. This is a decision that I made as well. I'm going to put all my time into this because I want to see where this can go. I love the community, and that will allow me to spend a lot more time volunteering with what I want. Working 3 jobs was never the plan. It never was. And I feel like I did a disservice to all of them. And so I want to kind of dive in and see what I can create with this. I enjoy it. And it seems like the reception has gone well. And man, talking about the 49ers Rush road trip, listen to this, guys. We're doing every damn game next year. We're going to start with all of the road games and throw in a couple home games as well. But the community was there. The fact that we had over 300 people show up to our hangout and our tailgate combined is unreal. There's a service out there that needs to be created, and if I could focus my time financially, if we could be rewarded, I'm not getting paid by a site, man. This is all me. It's all me. And so whenever I do sponsors, whenever I get the gifts, the Patreon, that's going to fund my life. So we're going to cut back a lot of stuff here. So Kurt, thank you. I really do appreciate your generous gift. And best way, Patreon. That's where you can kind of bring everything out and help us out into the pod and try to get this thing going. But yeah, that's what we got, man. So if you guys like John Chapman, the 49ers Rush community, that's the place to go. That's the place to participate. And again, all the gifts that we receive and stuff, that's just more giveaways. That's what it's about. And so building the community and things like that. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Now, let's go to this because I think this is important. The offense started humming, right? And everybody the last couple of weeks was like, oh, yeah, whatever. Like, oh, there's no rhythm. Kyle Shanahan, the play calling, all those things. Listen to Kyle Shanahan talk about this rhythm, which is a real thing, by the way. And it starts up front, and we'll get there in a second. Listen to him discuss this.
I felt our offense, I feel like when you guys ask that question, it's more about me, but it's, I felt the whole offense was in a rhythm, which makes me in a rhythm when I'm calling plays. But it was, just the guys made a ton of plays out there, and then we were able to make some key ones on third down. That was a little frustrating at the beginning because we felt like we were moving, and we kept getting between that 30 and 40 and couldn't keep it going. And finally we did that more in the second half, which was great. And, we were just messing with Mitch because he had a baby yesterday, and we flew him out here to punt. At least he helped, though, and did good on those.
Talk about
And, okay, one, you got the game flow. Listen to Kyle Shanahan cracking jokes. Just win. When you win, it fixes everything. Everything. Now, you look at third downs, and this was kind of the difference. We went, 1 for 11 on third downs, 1 for 16 on third downs, our last 2 losses. We went 4 for 10 today. Not great. Not elite. But you went 1 for 1 on 4th down. So even that small increase, right, 5 out of 11 total, pretty close to 50%, it allowed the offense to go. And again, no punts. We didn't have any 3 and outs. You gave, you built, and that wears down the defense. And that, man, you watch that game. And again, I hope you jump on and check out what we just put out over on Patreon. But like, golly, that defense quit. They quit. That 4th quarter, after all those big runs kept piling up, man, they quit. Shoulder slump, body language down, take it forever to get up off the ground, not getting set, whenever we're getting set. Like, we beat them into submission. And I say we, the 49ers did. And that matters. And so, again, that mentality. I think one of the problems that we have, though, and this is about to be fixed, Kyle Shanahan doesn't trust any running back not named Elijah Mitchell. But I can't tell you who he does trust. Jeff Wilson Jr. He's practicing this week. I doubt he comes back this week. I really don't think that he'll be activated from the pup. But I do believe Dre Greenlaw and George Kittle will. And again, 2 more guys that bring that mentality, that toughness. And that's what I want. Now, the offensive line, got to talk about them. 0 sacks, baby. 0 sacks. Listen to Jimmy G, chin line, talk about the O-line.
Like I said before, the noise is the noise. It's, when you're losing 40 games in a row, you deserve all that. But just, the O-line, give them their credit. Those guys played great today. And without them, we couldn't do what we do offensively. So it starts with them up front, and it always will.
Yeah, it starts with them, and, man, they handled it well. And I thought, oh, man, Mike McGlinchey finally, balled out. Not so much, man. Going through the film, yeah, lots of bad plays. Was it his best game? Sure. He still finished with a 62.6 grade. Not good. And he had a lot of bad run block plays out in the open, which was frustrating. You got away with a hold. He wasn't good. Was he awful? No. Was he bad? Probably not. He was just average, and that's kind of what he's going to be, unfortunately. If Khalil Mack was in that game, this would have been a different game. I want to be honest with you. But we didn't play him this week, and we got it. We got the win, and that's kind of what's important. Now, speaking of wins, next week, I'm going to do a whole episode on this, and I usually don't do this. I put an early bet in this weekend. If you bet with us last week, holy freaking cow, man, we were red hot. We made we made some money last week, which was good because we've been struggling a little bit, but I put an early bet in this week. So here we go. Real quick word from my bookie. When I gamble, always looking for ways to get an edge, but at my bookie, they double your first deposit, so you start with a leg up. Use my promo code 49ERS 49ers. Sign up now, claim your first deposit bonus with my bookie, and use the extra funds to kickstart your winning seasons. A lot of fun matchups this week. You got the 49ers without Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Then you look Sunday night, the Titans and the Rams without Derrick Henry. So there's so many different places that you can jump into, but don't just take my word for it. Head to my bookie, sign up now with the promo code 49ers, or you can scan the QR code on the screen to get your money doubled before you even start a bet. So remember, good friends don't let friends win alone. So you have your buddies, use the referral link if you are eligible, and an additional $250 bonus on their first deposit. Plus, it's unlimited to redeem, so all your friends can join the party at my bookie. Bet anytime, anything, anywhere with my bookie. Now, I put a bet down. It's a pick'em game right now. Kyler Murray, I don't think so. He's not playing. And I'm taking the 49ers. I put 10 on it this morning. Again, I always talk about my bets in multiples of 5 or 10, just so you can kind of gauge wherever you are. We're going to have our betting specials. And again, I always post all of the bets that I do on my bookie. But man, yeah, the Niners, I'm telling you right now, no J.J. Watt. He was the most impactful player last time. Colt McCoy, as much as I love that dude, trust me, I love me some Colt McCoy. No. They're still going to have a good offense, but man, we kept their offense in check last time with Kyler Murray. So I think that this is beyond a winnable game. And it's not a must-win, but it's pretty damn close. I don't really believe in must-wins early on in the season. That's not my thing. As a coach, I try to get kids away from that as well. I just don't buy into it. But listen to Fred Warner. How do you handle this?
We got one. That was the goal the entire week. We just need one. we get one, then we'll focus on getting one more. And that's the mindset going forward throughout the rest of the season. 1 week at a time. The entire focus was on the Chicago Bears and coming in here doing whatever it takes to get the win, and then we did exactly that. Going forward now, Arizona Cardinals at home. We haven't won at home in a long time. It's unacceptable. But like I said, it's one at a time. Everything in our power right now is to win one more game, one game at a time. And right now it's the Arizona Cardinals.
You just small daily, the big picture stuff can mess you up, and not everybody can handle that. One game at a time. That's it, and we got one. Pay attention to kind of how social media, how podcasts, positivity has changed. We're pretty normal here. I think we're usually pretty positive. But man, a lot of the other podcasts I listen to, good Lord, they're not even the same podcast. Well, what's changed? You beat the Bears. That. It can't be all doom and gloom, and it can't be all sunshine and rainbows. The film's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is. And so, yeah, we're on top of the world. Oh, we're going to make the playoffs, all that stuff. Well, we're half a game out of the last spot. There's 7 spots. And, yeah, that should be the goal. You want to make the playoffs. Can the 49ers make the playoffs this year? Yes. But you don't go back to the last week versus the Colts, which was a really bad loss, and be like, oh, man, that team and this team are 2 different stories. They're not. They're not. Our defense laid an egg against a rookie QB to have his best game. And he torched us. Let's be real. So, it's not all great. I'm still very, very positive. Tommy, thank you. He says, sorry for harassing you during the game, John. Yeah, Tommy's the man. But he's a swinger, and I don't mean it that way. We're about to go off the rails here. Yay, live show. But he goes through emotional swings. Allow me to explain myself. And so yeah, you're not the only one, man. I usually turn my phone off during the games just because it's so crazy. One, I'm in too many fantasy chats, fantasy football chats. Good Lord, I need to start pre-gaming this and making sure I'm answering it correctly. But it gets, I don't know, it's a lot, especially as I'm doing my notes and trying to do all this stuff. But, man, I love it. Please reach out. Do not hesitate. I try my hardest to answer everybody's comments at some point. I will be honest, and it's starting to get to the point where it's man, I could see why people don't answer everybody's emails anymore, which it sucks. I don't want to get to that point. It's time-consuming. But, man, please reach out. It's all about the community. It's all about bringing that. I see you, Jason. Capitalize on that little slip there. That's my bad. Now, another big thing I want to talk about, and again, I'm hoping to have some film cut-up clips for you guys next time. Brandon Ayuk. And I could spend the whole episode talking about how well of a game he played. He played incredible, and it wasn't just in the passing game. But listen to Shanahan acknowledge, this is one of the first things he said in the whole entire, interview, the press conference. He purposefully went out to praise him, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I thought BA, I don't know what his numbers were or anything, but BA played his butt off today. He was great. I knew he had a chance going into the game. He's strung together a number of good weeks here, and I felt like this was the main week where his game really went up in practice, where he gave me a lot of confidence throughout the week, gave the quarterbacks a lot of confidence, our team, and I could feel it from him all week, and I felt it today. So big props to BA today.
He was so good. He actually had more snaps than Debo. He had 49 of 56 snaps, and Debo had 46. So he's getting the correct attention. Now, you look at the targets, right? He had 7 targets, 4 catches, 45 yards. But even more importantly than that, one of the first passes was a deep pass to Ayuk. It was long. It was too long. But still, purposefully early on getting him involved. Plus, he had that very crucial 2-point conversion, which helped out a lot, put the game away, out of reach. But, man, I'll tell you this. That dude running slant routes, watching the film, I'd jump into this considerably. They ran so many slant routes for Brandon Ayuk. He was the outside wide receiver alone, running slant routes, 1. He was the number 2 wide receiver in a double set, slant route 1. They even ran a quad, the 2-point conversion, where they did a 4x1. So it was an empty. You have 4 wide receivers on one side and just Debo on the other side. And so they put Brandon Ayuk at the inside number 4 guy, and he ran that just an awesome slant. Like, he's just got great moves. Get separation every time. So find out what he's good at and build some confidence. Oh, you could run an incredible slant route and get separation every time. Cool. We're going to put you in every single formation possible. And, man, we never showed a 4x1 set. Like, we never did that. Like, they were waiting for a 2-point conversion to do that, and it was play design 100% for Brandon Ayuk. I love that. Now, even bigger than that, the dude was run blocking like a beast.
I think for all of us in the receiving room, it's a real close room. So it's just like, it feels good when you know you made your block, you took care of your guy, and then you see your guy running past you, and tackle that to one. I'll talk to him about that later, but
How much was
BA was awesome. Like, run blocking, you could tell he's mentioned this several times. But that's one of the reasons why he didn't get the work early on in the year. Really, it was just 1 week. After that, he's gotten 75% of the snaps almost week in and week out. So Brandon Ayuk's fine, guys. Just fine. And the scramble drill that he did, that was probably my favorite play when Jerry, again, he was running around all that stuff. Ayuk mirrored him perfectly. This is good. It's a positive step in the right direction. Now, if you can increase that to a 2-0 little slide here against the Cardinals, which I fully expect them to win this game. I really, really do. We play the Cards well all the time. No quarterback, no JJ. They got some issues. We're trending up. Jimmy Garoppolo always plays good against the Cardinals. A lot of his best games are there. We'll spend a whole episode talking more about that, and we're going to get to see practice reports and things like that, see some things. But I want to say thank you, guys. Appreciate it as always. Man, I got to get started on that jersey and figure out that giveaway, so make sure you hit that notification bell. And again, if you're one of the people that says, oh, man, my notification bell's on, I don't get whatever, you have to go into your settings and change it to make sure it alerts you. For some reason, like the default whatever is different for everybody. I don't know why it's like that, but there's nothing I can do on my end. But I want to say thank you guys. Appreciate all the support. And as always, stay strong, faithful.